Thank you so much for finding the time to talk to me. There's a few different things I'll want to ask you, but maybe we can start with a little bit about your background. So, how did your MMA journey start?
It started back when I was, I guess my martial arts journey started when I was 6. I was always like into like fighting and boxing and like stuff like that, and it's like I just had a fascination for like fighting kind of things. You know what I mean? They were like sports, but I was just into like fighting. And then my uncle was a karate teacher, so you had to be 7 or 8 to be allowed to do the class. But my uncle knew my age, so he goes to me, "Don't tell anyone your age, you'll come down." Do you know what I mean? So I'll get you in. So that's when I started. So then I started that 7, 8 until I was about 9, I would say, and then I quit. So I did because karate, it's very like a corrupt politics kind of thing. You know, I remember going to competitions and you would have been scoring points and the other person's coach would have been giving them their points and all. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't like violent enough either. So I felt like if I went to like boxing where I could like give it to the person, I could make it obvious. Do you know what I mean? Where karate was semi-contact, like, just point scoring and stuff. I was like, I need something where I can give it to the fella and make it decisive and actually beat them up and stop pretending to beat them up. Do you know what I mean? And so then that was great. I quit for a while and I was just doing my thing. I was at school and all this, and then my uncle, who was the karate instructor, he had a MMA fight. So he did like a local thing. It was like this cage fighting, and I had a look at the video he showed me. My uncle.
Okay, so he was doing karate.
Yeah, okay. He had a MMA fight. He was the karate guy and had an MMA fight. And I was like, wow, what's this? So I didn't know. I was always good at karate. I could handle myself in fights in the street and in the school. And do you know what I mean? I was a fighter, like, so I was always fighting in the confrontations and all. And I could always handle myself. And I went up and tried one class and got absolutely annihilated, like by people who I thought I could take. Do you know what I mean? I thought I was a tough guy, and they annihilated me, dragged me around the mat, fired me in my head, punched me in it, and I was like, wow, this is for me. I want this, because what they did to me, I was like, I want to be able to do that, and I want to be able to stop that from happening to me. So I was just, from that moment on, I was hooked. So I wouldn't just been obsessive since.
Nice. I'm very interested to ask you a little bit more about your karate transition to MMA, because it's one of the things that I'm familiar with myself in terms of, well, my story is way worse in the sense that I did the Aikido, which is
very
one of the most softest martial arts, which doesn't translate. But I know more or less how that feels to go from one martial art to another. But one thing that I noticed in your style, you take the bladed stance in the fight. I presume that comes from karate?
Karate, yeah.
So how do you mix it up, your previous background with the current?
It's very... Karate is one of the best sports for entering mixed martial arts if you can use it in the right way. But there's a lot of negatives from it also. But if you can take the positives and use the positives in the correct situation, you won't get a more effective martial arts, I feel. Just for the distance control, that one-shot kill, your distance really cover range, to get the half-beat shots going, do you know what I mean? And an outfiring shot, like to break the rhythms up for your kicks, fighting straight lines. It's excellent for that, but then you've got all the bad habits. Your hands are down, your chin's in the air, you one-shot kill, so you fire one shot, bang, that's it. So you just need to adapt. So you do, and you need to know that I can take this positive, add it with this positive from this sport, and now we've got something that unfolds. So I feel like that's what I'm in the process of doing, is trying to figure out all the positive from it, and take bits and add a bit of boxing to it, a bit of Muay Thai to it, a bit of this to it, but keep my karate base, and just add stuff on top of it. So it is, so add a shell, don't go back with my chin up, add a shell in, add a roll, add a slip, counter. There's not too much counters in the karate. It's not like a slip bang, it's more of a distance thing. The guy will miss and you'll make him pay for missing. It's not a slip bang, you know what I mean? It's not a reaction thing. It's about a distance control, which is very good, but if you add a pull or a slip in with that footwork, it just elevates it to such a high level. And that's why I feel like people look at me and they'll look at a video and they'll like be looking at him, what the fuck's he doing? That looks like I just hit him there. and then they get in there and feel it, and it's like a false sense of distance,
Right.
because you're such a low base, you're side on, your hands are down, and they're going, his head's just there, but I know where I am. I know how long it will take you to get to me, and I know how long it will take me to move away from you, or I know you can just read it through years and years of doing it, and I feel like people get very confused when they see that and feel like they can just attack you, and that's why it's so effective, because they've never seen it before, and I feel like that's why it's very useful.
What you mentioned about keeping the hands a bit more down and keeping the distance, as I was watching some of the fights and some of the really good guys, I noticed that the hands were sometimes lower, and for me as a beginner, I was always taught, hands up, hands up.
Yeah.
And I asked Coach John, like, why do you keep the hands up and the hands more down? And he said, well, the good guys, they really know their stuff, they really know their distance, and that's why you don't have to do that. And I was
exactly.
like,
So it's like kind of going like, I know where I am, and when you're a beginner, you don't you don't know where you are.
Sure.
So it's better to protect it, and that's why if you watch all the good guys, when they feel uncomfortable, they go like this.
Right.
Then it's like alert, sharp, like because they feel safe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when your guard's up, but I know when I'm out here and I'm in the free range zone, as I call it, is that I know you can't hit me. I know you might feel like you can, but I'll know if you can or not, because I've spent the last 8 years of doing it. And don't get me wrong, when I started doing it, bang, shot, and then over a period of time, it's like I can see that movement, I'm out of there. Do you know what I mean? So it takes years and just practice. So it is just practice, playing with it, and also ditching it. Maybe try something else.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I did both. So I did go and never stand my hands down, march forward, head move, you know what I mean? And sometimes that style is not, for me personally, I get hit more. So I do my hands down when I'm out, I don't get touched, I never get hit with my hands down. You'll see plenty of my fights when my hands are up, I'll bang, get caught. Not once, but you watch all my footage with my hands down by my side, I've never been hit. So it's just one of those things, and it's just timing and practice, and I feel that is martial arts, is timing. Martial arts is all about timing, so it isn't just getting that right. And you just got to be patient. Sometimes you might want it to happen faster, but it just doesn't, so you have to be able to settle that inner thing, go now. You have to be able to settle that and control that, and the more control you get over that, the better you become. Do you know what I mean? It's not many moves, it's not about a right hand, it's not about a left kick, it's not about that. We can all fire that. We can watch a TV program and learn how to fire a kick. But stand someone in front of you and try to kick him in the head, it's a bit different. And that's down to timing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like if you can control that inner self and when to go, and then when you do decide to go for it, don't hesitate. And that's where you get the nice balance, is like you don't hesitate when you go, because people hesitate and that's when they get clipped in the middle, and then they hold back too long and then you get caught yourself. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you just have to find the rhythm, and that's why it's so fun.
One more thing I wanted to ask. Are we still good on time? We have like 10 more minutes or so?
Yeah, it's only 17 minutes.
Okay. Kicks. So I'm still exploring the MMA world, but it seems kicks are somewhat neglected by at least many fighters. It's just like a round kick and tip kick mostly, but it doesn't seem like many fighters focus on that. Karate at the same time has a lot of kicks. So what's your relationship with kicks, and what do you think about the whole kind of subject of kicks in MMA?
Yeah, kicks are very, very good, but they take a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy to lift your leg. You know what I mean? Your leg's heavy. You know what I mean? Especially for me, I'm like a small guy. I'm not that big, but for just the way my body's proportional, I've got quite big legs for my kind of frame. Do you know what I mean? It's like whatever. So it's like you get guys then who are tall and skinny who can flick kicks all day. He's got little skinny legs. It's easy for them, and they feel comfortable for it. But I feel like they're very energy draining, but they can be very efficient if you use them well. So I would say if you're good at setting them up, then they're definitely there for. And I feel like that's why a lot of MMA fighters don't use them as much, because they're not always there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I see in a lot of MMA fights, a lot of the flashy cool kicks that you look at just go past someone's face.
Yeah.
So it's not worth for the percentage of that they land. It's not worth the jump up and do a spinning kick, and for your heart rate to jump up about 50 beats. For you to land back down, I've just missed that. I'm out of breath. Try and Gallagher, and then he might just skip in and boom, and you're done. Or he might just keep you. He might just leg kick you after that, and it's like a devastating one because he's reserved his energy, he's reserved his timing, and did something efficient. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to jab, leg kick, and it's a lot more effective because it's risk versus reward. If I bang you a nice teep, it's going to take it mightn't drop you, but it'll get you winced. And it hasn't took much energy out of me, so if I get it or not, it's not a big deal. But if I do get it, it gives me a good reward. It won't finish him usually, and never, it's not that kind of thing, but it will set me up to the finish. Do you get me? So it's very efficient for the amount of energy that you're using. A leg kick, it's the same thing. Bang! You're not going to drop him with it, but what you will get is stopping him from marching forward, marching you down. You'll slow him down. You'll get your jab off better because he can't put the weight on the lead leg. So it's a very efficient move for such a low risk. Do you know what I mean? So that's just what I feel about all strikes in general, and about all styles is risk versus reward. Is it worth me to shoot a double on someone who I don't want to be in his guard? It's not worth the risk. I may as well body lock him and drag him and get him to a position where I'm comfortable. Do you know what I mean? If I'm just going to double leg him and stand back up out of his guard, it's like the risk versus reward. It's not like there's no point if you've got that kind of mentality. So I feel like you just have to do what makes you like comfortable. Do you know what I mean? If I'm comfortable attacking the leg, and then just break them down bit by bit, and I feel like it's just down to that personality thing. Do you know what I mean? You got other guys there like King Cody, who will come in and boot the legs off you. You block it, you take it, he misses, he'll go again, and he'll go again until he gets you and put you down with it. Do you know what I mean? And just different people, different folks, different strokes, but mine's is definitely use it if it's efficient. If I'm wearing someone down and I'm fresh and light and I'm in the third round and I'm feeling great and I can see that they're faded, they've got no energy, well then I can fire a spinning hook kick, or I can spin in a 360 degree roundhouse, because I know I'm not going to get more tired than him, and it's not risk, but it'll look good if it lands off. So the risk versus reward is worth it. Do you know what I mean? He's tired, he's curled up. I might be able to jump around and catch him in the head and it'll look good for a thing. But then again, when he's that tired, you can just go in and land a stiff 1-2 and put him down. Do you get me? So it's just about what you want versus risk versus reward. So that's my kind of opinion on it.
Nice. Very cool. So just a quick couple more. The one question I like to ask experienced professional fighters is, when you look back at your beginning of your MMA career, what would have been your advice to your younger version of yourself? Like in the training, what would you feel like you would have done different if you would know what you know now?
I probably would have. I don't know. I like where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I would change anything, because I'm really happy with the position that I've left myself in.
Yeah.
There is stuff that I probably would, if I had have known back then, but I don't dwell on them kind of things because I didn't, so I can't change that. Do you know what I mean? You just no one knew, you know what I mean? Like stuff about cutting weight, about training progress and stuff. But right now, one of the things that I did know back then, and people told me, and they're like, you should keep stretching. You're going to regret that when you're older. I was a young, flexible 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And then you get like 15, 16, do you know what I mean? That's a few years of training me bigger men, bigger this, but I'm starting to fill out now, grow muscles for myself and stuff. Sure, your body gets tight. So I wish that I had have trained once a day and stretched twice a day. Is where I was doing it vice versa. I was training twice a day and stretching once. Do you get me? Yeah. So I would say to someone, they just keep stretching, be mobile on their body, and just never do too much of anything. Do you know what I mean? Don't cluster yourself with an intense drive, just flow with it and enjoy it. Because when you fluster, I feel like, or get too bad, I need to do 500 guard passes this week. Then you get flustered and you don't even like it, and you get this. So I feel like you need to do enough. You should be coming away. John, and this is why I feel like John is one of the best coaches I've ever came across in any kind of, and just life. Do you know what I mean? I've seen coaches from karate, I've seen teachers at school, I've seen so many different kind of teachers. I used to fish, I used to have go get private fishing lessons. So I used to have teachers teaching me how to fly fish and stuff, and teach me how to make flies. And what John told me is that when you do so much of like one thing like all the time and make it, I'm working hard. Why are you working hard? Who wants to work hard? No one. Do you know what I mean? It's not, no one wants to work hard. But if I enjoy doing all this stuff, if I enjoy putting it all in, if I enjoy going for a run, if I enjoy that, and just embrace it and make, don't think I'm going running to win my fight tonight. I'm going for a train. I'm going to train to win my fight, or I'm doing this to get better. I'm coming here to train tonight because I can't wait to go and roll and see what new something I've never seen before. I want someone to put me in a position that I've never seen before, and it's going to blow my mind. I don't care about what's happening tomorrow. I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care what I have done. I might have won this, I might have won that, I might have lost this, I might have lost that. It doesn't matter. I'm going now to have a jiu-jitsu class. And I'm going to make sure that it's the, as John always says when he coaches, he's going to coach the best class he's ever taught. Well, I'm going to do and learn at the best jiu-jitsu class I've ever been at. And that's just how I see it. So I use what he's saying about his coaching. So I go, alright, well if he's going to coach the best class he's ever been at, I'm going to go and attend the best jiu-jitsu class I've ever been at. And if I learn one thing, then I'm a step further than I was yesterday. Do you know what I mean? And if you have to do your strength and conditioning, it's not like I'm doing it to feel good. I'm going to run to make myself feel good. A fresh, a fit body and a fit mind is a good one. It progresses, it gets you more, it makes you happy. I'm not doing it for anything other than to make myself feel good. Do you know what I mean? And when you start attaching stuff to things, then they become unfun. I have to do this to get that. Nah, that's not what I do. I don't have to fight for money. I don't have to train for my fight. I train because I love to train. I fight because I love to fight. Do you know what I mean? And I can do it full time as a professional because I'm getting paid so I can support my family. Do you know what I mean? Nothing is I have to do this for this. I don't have to do anything for anything. I do it because it's for me. It's what fulfills me. It's what fulfills you deep down, and I've come in and out of it. I haven't always been like this. I haven't always acted like this. I haven't always approached this like this way. I've done it all kinds of ways, but I feel like this is the best because when you do something for something and you get that thing, when you get the final destination, you'll be very disappointed because it's never as good. It's never as good as you think it will be. When you might be money. I'm going to get this fight because I'm going to earn the biggest paycheck I've ever earned. You'll get that money and look at it and be like, that was alright. You know what I mean? It's nice, but it doesn't fulfill you. But when I walk into this jiu-jitsu class now, when I go home tonight, I'm going to be like, that was fucking lethal. Do you know what I mean? You can feel because it fulfills you. When I go and win my fight, it's going to fulfill me. Do you know what I mean? It's because it's what I love. Do you know what I mean? It's what I'm passionate about, and I'm doing it because of I like that. I'm not doing it because I've trained hard for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing it because of this. I'm not training hard because I want to win my fight, and I'm not fighting because I've trained hard for it. You don't connect it all or something. And I just feel when you take things for what they are themselves and stop connecting them to other things, you enjoy it. You enjoy. I enjoy getting a lot of money at the end of my fight. I enjoy it. It makes me feel, you know what I mean? I enjoy it, and I love being able to go and do stuff, and I enjoy it. But it doesn't fulfill you. There's a difference between happy, or there's a difference between enjoying something and something that fulfills you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll go fishing, and it doesn't really make me like, I wouldn't say it's happiness or it's not a big thing, but it just fulfills me. I'm just content. There's nothing on my mind. I'm just content. I'm not thinking about being anywhere else. I'm not thinking about this. Doesn't give me a happiness. Doesn't give me excitement. Doesn't give me nothing. But it just doesn't make me feel low. It just fulfills me. So when you train jiu-jitsu for doing jiu-jitsu, when you train your boxing to get better at boxing, when you fight because I love to fight, it will fulfill you. If you if you do it for other reasons, you've got a short period of time, and I'm in this game for life, so that's why I look at it. So,
I'm pretty sure we're close to out of time, but the very last question, maybe you can, it can be a short answer. Just one more for the karate. For the karate guys who are training to be an efficient fighter, would you recommend to them to cross-train in MMA or go full-on MMA? Like, what would be your message to karate guys who are...
A karate guy who wants to do MMA or a karate guy who's just doing karate?
Karate guy who's just doing karate but wants to be an efficient fighter.
100%. I tell him to get a headgear on, big gloves, big shin pads, 60% contact, and no, like, maybe not add in any strikes, but just be continuous, just fight. But don't have to be hard, just fight and do that regularly. And I feel for most humans, don't have to hurt each other, just get in there and feel that confrontation of a real fight and a real competitive, where you know that it's dangerous and you know that it's real, it's unpredictable, there's anything can go. I feel for all people should just feel that. Just put yourself in it once in a while, and it keeps you appreciative of life in general. Do you know what I mean? You don't get too caught up in, because you know that, alright, I've had a bad day at the office or whatever, but it takes your mind away from that. And I guarantee if someone's standing in front of you, and you're gloved up, ready to go, even if you know he's not going to hurt you or you're just doing this, you're not going to be thinking what the fuck your girlfriend is in your head about. You're not going to be thinking that. You're going to be, this cunt's going to punch me in the face. Sorry, excuse my language.
That's fine.
This fella's going to punch me in the face. This fella's going to do this, and it's scary. It's definitely. I wouldn't say scary is the wrong word. Because I'm not scared when I'm in there. But I definitely do not want to be punched in the face. But I'm not scared of it.
Threatening maybe more?
Like I know the consequences of it. And since I know the consequences of it, that makes me not scared of it. But I know I don't want to be hit by it. If I'm scared by it, I'm going to get hit by it. Do you get me? So it's a confidence that it will make you grow, knowing I know this is dangerous. I know if I mess up, I'm going to pay big consequences, it's going to hurt. So just get into that zone where you're very uncomfortable and try your best to be flow and make yourself comfortable. So that's what I feel to like all kinds of martial artists, because jiu-jitsu guys, they've never put on a glove in their life. So I would just tell them all, just step in there with a pro who's not going to hurt you or not going to do anything, but it's going to make you feel as realistic as a realistic fight can be, and just to have that bit of intenseness at it. So I do it all the time. It's just once in your lifetime, try it, and I feel like you'll have a different outlook for competitive fighting. So you will, and fighting in general. So it is because people that are doing traditional martial arts, etc., they have never been in a real fight. Do you know what I mean? And this comes from someone who loves traditional martial arts. Do you know what I mean? I love karate, I love taekwondo. Karate's one of my most enjoyable things. Just practicing the kata, practicing the kicks. I still do it in my gaff. Do you know what I mean? I do a karate class, but I still practice it in my gaff because it's just something fun about it. Do you know what I mean? I just like it, but it's not real. It's not real. There is aspects of it that you can adapt into real fighting, but the overall karate thing isn't real fighting. And taekwondo isn't real fighting. Boxing isn't real fighting. Just have a real fight and let it all flow out. No rules as such, and make it as realistic as you can get it without being hurt or life-threatening damage, and just have fun. Do you know what I mean? And make it fun. It's not fun for a minute, but it'll be fun after when you get relief. Do Do you know what I mean? So I feel like people should put themselves in that situation.
Yeah.
So I feel, yeah, they should.
Cool.
They will.
Well, perfect.
Nice one, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good man. Thank
Yeah.
you.